favorite Saturday in October rivalry between Bama and Tennessee. Cigars galore this weekend on the hottest show on the streets, covering your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you all in here. Had some small technical things there, but we're off. We're running, we're flowing. We appreciate you guys sticking with us, being patient with us here, getting you the show. We're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you via YouTube. Speaking of the channel, you guys know what time it is. You hit the subscribe button right now. You smash subscribe right now. Get every friend, every family member, every diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Crimson Tide football to subscribe, because if you love the content, they will also. Don't forget to leave a like. Give us that thumbs up, hit that like button, smash the like button. Let's get this show right now to 50 likes. Make this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Crimson Tide football. Turn all of those notifications on, hit that little bell so that way you miss absolutely nothing when it comes to your Alabama football coverage. Also, we got you covered here, streaming the show on Facebook and Twitter as well. And we got a good one, man, talking Crimson Tide football. Tennessee fans, they're hot right now. They are feeling this matchup. They believe that this is their year to finally beat a Nick Saban coached Alabama team. Tennessee 0 for its last 15 tries against Nick Saban, going back to 2007. But this season, different bunch of volunteers under Josh Heupel in the second year. This one will be Rocky Top, Neyland Stadium, Knoxville. A top 10 matchup, 2:30 p.m. Central Time on CBS. We want to hear from you, the passionate fans of Bama football. Don't let the night go by without letting your opinion be made known. 205-448-1358, the number to call in, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. That daily super chat goes $75. Appreciate the support from you, the Bama Nation. But right now, Eli, we jump to topic number one of the conversation. But takeaways from Bama's close win over Texas A&M, and that game was wild in Tuscaloosa. Got to give the fans credit, though, Eli. Over 100,000 people inside Bryant-Denny, and they were turned up from the start to the finish. 1,077 was the pay in attendance sellout crowd. Crowd did an awesome job of creating a hostile environment for A&M to be in. Bryce Young was named the starter over the PA system, but we saw Jalen Milroe getting the start there for the Crimson Tide. To me, the game shouldn't have been close at all, but A&M fought, scratched, clawed. Jimbo Fisher did all he could do there, but in the end, Crimson Tide getting that revenge, 24-20 win there over the Aggies. But the coolest moment from the game, Eli, was Bryce Young, Jalen Milroe embracing each other after the game. Bryce giving Milroe big hug, big dap, making sure, hey, despite all that happened, bruh, you got us, you helped us win the football game. It wasn't easy. It was difficult. It was high adversity, a lot of anxiety going on. But at the end of the day, the clock hit 000. Bama got the win. It was very Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts-esque, the full-on love and brotherhood and quarterback embrace between Bryce Young and Jalen Milroe, the veteran Heisman Trophy winner, showing the support to the second-year quarterback out of Texas. But here we go here with these key takeaways. Number one, Milroe has potential, did some good things, but he's got some things to work on. He's got some things he's got to clean up moving forward. That's number one. Number two, Jahmyr Gibbs is putting in a top 15 NFL draft stock. He's looking like the best running back that's going to come off the board in next year's NFL draft with the way he continues to play, especially against the Aggies. Number 3, that Bama defense played its heart out. I mean, you want to talk about playing balls to the wall? They played balls to the wall. That Alabama defense, you got to give Pete Golden a lot of credit. That defense played its heart out. They emptied the tank all night long there against A&M. And then last but not least here, Alabama can't afford to lose the turnover battle moving forward, because you're going to have a lot better teams you got to play down the road this season in the SEC. Alabama lost the turnover battle to A&M, still found a way to win the football game, but you can't afford to lose the turnover battle and expect to win moving forward here down the stretch of the season. But starting off this thing here with Jalen Milroe, once again, he had some good moments. We can't take that from him. He did have 3 touchdown passes, 1 to Cam Latu, 1 to Ja'Cory Brooks on a crossing pattern, 1 to Jermaine Burton. He did have 80-plus yards rushing. So he did some good things, but Coach Saban talked about it today. The young man played with high anxiety, and it was he understood the preparation he had. He understood the practice reps he got. He got all the first-team reps last week to put him in position, but it's like, Eli, when you take those standardized tests, and I hate those darn things. When you take the ACT and the SAT, and you prepare like what's about to happen, and you didn't hype yourself up, you get that morning breakfast, bacon, eggs, pancakes, a little oatmeal, and you pop you some gum in your mouth, and you ready to do this thing, but then the test hits your desk, and you freeze up like a popsicle, and you're like, everything just leaves your brain, and the anxiety hits. That's kind of like how I am. Standardized test. Jalen Milroe was prepared. He was set to go. The training was there. But then that first possession, taking over for the Heisman Trophy winner, your first start, that anxiety kind of kicked in there. And you can't necessarily blame him for that. But at the same time, you got to hold on to the football if you're Jalen Milroe. A couple of the sacks he took, he was holding that ball like a loaf of bread. You got to hold that ball high and tight, i.e. Burton Burns, former Alabama running backs coach, he taught that. And, Milroe got hit, fumbled the ball twice, lost the ball. Both of those fumbles were lost as A&M recovered both of those. So, and then there was also an interception there from Jalen Milroe. So did some good things, but some things you got to clean up. High anxiety there for Milroe. Saban, Bill O'Brien, they'll work with him on that. Moving on to the second takeaway, Jahmyr Gibbs playing like a top 15 running back. I mean, this guy, back-to-back 100-yard games. After having 206 yards against Arkansas, I think he had 147 against A&M. Did not have a touchdown against the Aggies. However, ripped off some big runs, ripped off some strong runs. And he also had 3 catches there against the Aggies as well. So you're just seeing even more of the Swiss Army knife that is Jahmyr Gibbs. And Tyler Steen spoke today about how, I mean, he's a guy where he does not need a big hole. Give him a slither of a crease. He will take off on you. He will run on you. He can flat fly. He can flat making plays out there on the field. So, Jahmyr Gibbs, back-to-back 100-yard games, looking like top 15 draft pick for next April. The next takeaway here, number 3, I mean, this Alabama defense, and in particular, this cheetah package of Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, and Chris Braswell, this is nothing short of scary. I mean, oh my gosh. Will Anderson, if there was a stat, Eli, for almost sacks, Will Anderson had 15 sacks over the weekend, y'all. I mean, he has his hands all over Haynes King. Just could not bring him down. Will Anderson, a career high and a team high, 8 quarterback pressures in the game. 8. I mean, Will was getting back there like nobody's business. Will was getting back there like taking candy from a baby. Will was getting back there like somebody left the front door open and the folks just kept coming in. Like, Will was just a menace. Stayed in the backfield all game long. And then Dallas Turner had 2 sacks. He made his presence felt all night long, and Dallas was just wrecking the running back, Devon Achane, who was a non-factor in the matchup. And then Chris Braswell. How about my man CB? We had him on the show back in the summer. Got a sack to his own credit. I think all 3 guys, Eli, combined for 15 quarterback hurries? I think they combined like 15 quarterback hurries, if I'm quoting that correctly. Like, the cheetah package is just stupid good. I mean, stupid good. Henry To'o had some strong moments out there. Deontay Lawson had some strong moments. And keep your eyes on that dude. I talked to Coach Saban today. Lawson got a handle on the whole thing. Lawson is going to continue to just be that guy right there. The defensive line, those guys did their thing, held up, played well. Brian Branch was flying everywhere, with the exception of maybe 1 pass interference penalty against him. I thought Brian Branch played well. I mean, guys in the secondary, balled out. Yes, Terrion Arnold gave up some big plays there, but he also had a pick. And at the very end, had the big play at the end there to get the win there, 24-20. So the defense played their heart out. Got to give Pete Golding credit there. Defense won you that football game for the Crimson Tide. And then, like I mentioned, last but not least, her takeaway, Coach Saban is wrecking his brain to get this thing done. Not giving the ball away offensively, but forcing the turnovers on defense. When you win the turnover battle, it goes a long way to, do you win the game? When you win the turnover battle consistently, it goes a long way into, are you a national championship team? And for Alabama, the last couple of weeks, we've seen some giveaways that, you can't afford to have those, especially when you look at now. You've got Tennessee Saturday, then you got Mississippi State, and then you got the bye week, and then there's LSU and Ole Miss. You can't afford to give the ball away and then not take it away consistently. So for Alabama, you can't afford those turnovers offensively, moving forward. And that's what Coach Saban is going to get his handle on this week in terms of practice. But we take our first break here on the show, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we go to the phone lines. Ring those phone lines. We want to hear from you, the Bama faithful. We get to your conversations right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, we're back here to the action from the break on a Monday. Getting that work week and the third Saturday in October rivalry week. Start off for you correctly in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith, touchdown, Alabama Magazine. Got to get some super chats right now. So how about Mechanic with that $75 donation handling but daily super chat go by himself. Appreciate Mechanic right there. And then Jamie Wilhelm comes in with that $4.99 in the super chats as well. Appreciate Mechanic and Jamie. Also, fans, remember on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming on the TDA YouTube channel, we got the Bama Standard with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC linebacker and Bama legend Marvin Constant, two-time national championship running back and USFL champion Bo Scarborough, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. We got two incredible guests, former Bama receiver Antonio Carter and former Alabama linebacker Jarrell Harris coming on the show to talk Bama, Tennessee. You don't want to miss it tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time. The Bama Standard streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. But right now, we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. How are we feeling? What's going on? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's going on, Steven? It's your boy Chris from Ballard Sports Media on YouTube. How you doing? Roll Tide.
Doing great, Chris. Doing fantastic. We got Bama, Tennessee, cigars going crazy this weekend after a tough win over A&M. It was adversity. For Jalen Milroe, it was anxiety for him taking over for the Heisman Trophy winner in his first career start. But, you know, it was rough, but you get the win. You remain undefeated. But you got to put a lot of work in to face Tennessee this week. And hopefully, you know, Bryce can go.
Absolutely, and I think every team at some point needs a close game. I know we had one against Texas early on in week 2, but I think it was much needed this weekend just as a wake-up call a little bit to say, hey, it's going to get tough. It's going to be hard. It's going to get tougher as the year goes on, and we got to realize as a team, Alabama is not unbeatable. They can be stopped, and I think Texas A&M kind of showed a couple ways you could do that, you know, but we want to look towards Tennessee the third Saturday. I was looking online. I don't know if these teams have ever met undefeated. If they have, it's been a long time, but you got a 6-0 Alabama. You got a 5-0 Tennessee. Here's what I think is going to be key. Bryce Young or Jalen Milroe. I really think that airing the football out on Saturday. Now, we can use Jahmyr Gibbs, and I wanted to ask you if we could use him as a premier threat in this game because I think airing the football out is what's going to be key. You know, when you look at it, Tennessee has given up 307 yards passing, whereas their run defense is only allowing 89 yards. So I think their secondary is more suspect. What do you think on that, man? Because I really think that we need to air the football out, but I also think we need to give Jahmyr Gibbs the football.
You got to give Jahmyr Gibbs the football in every way possible. Running it out the backfield as a wide receiver on special teams and then airing the ball out. If Bryce goes, because Bryce got evaluated today by the team doctors, if Bryce goes, which my gut feeling is telling me Bryce is going to go, if Bryce goes, and that kind of alleviates the concern there, but if there's still butterflies in terms of him and you're back to Milroe, then that would be he's going to have to trust the development of what he's been taught in practice, but also these receivers have got to help him. If it's Milroe, these receivers have got to help. Like Ja'Cory Brooks, Burton, Trayshawn Holden, JoJo Earl, Kobe Prentice, these guys have got to help him. And that's, if he puts the ball anywhere on you, you got to catch the ball. You've got to bail him out. You've got to help him out there on the field. I understand there are some fans out there wondering, well, could we see Ty Simpson, the freshman, the 5-star? You know, he's from Tennessee, played his high school ball at Westview High School, led that program to a 2A state championship. And Ty Simpson's got an arm, and he can sling it. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year for Tennessee in the state for a reason. But at the same time, I mean, if you do go Milroe, these receivers, they've got to help him out there on the field when you look at airing the ball out. But my gut feeling is telling me that Bama should have Bryce Young for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Nick Saban trusts whoever he puts out there at quarterback, and us as fans, we got to go along with that. But I really do hope and pray that Bryce Young can get better, because obviously we don't want to see anybody hurt. And I think this is just going to be one of those games. And obviously it's no knock on Jalen Milroe, but if this is going to be one of those games where we need everybody's best and we need the best of everybody, we need Bryce Young. But I'm confident we can get the victory. I think it's going to be very competitive, which is just what this rivalry needs, is more competitiveness. But thank you for taking my call, Steven. Love you guys. Roll Tide, Bama Nation.
Appreciate my man Chris from Ballard Sports Media calling out of Coleman, Alabama to start the show off right here. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Jordan in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
All right.
You knew I'd be calling.
Well, Jordan, here's the week that we've been talking about for quite some time now, and is this Saturday, man?
Yep, and from what that guy was asking, this is the first time since 1989 and the second time since 1970 that both teams entered this game undefeated.
All right, so first time since 89, so first time since the year my older sister was born, okay?
Yes. And see, that's the thing. I am actually, as a Tennessee fan, I am actually hoping that Bryce Young starts, because I just want to see that quarterback duel.
I mean, to have Bryce Young and Hendon Hooker go at it, that's going to be extremely compelling, because Hooker played well last year in this game. He had 3 touchdowns, 282 yards. He's having a great year this year. So, I mean, if you want a lightning show, you would have to have it as Bryce Young and Hendon Hooker.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, I was watching last week, and I thought how the Texas A&M Alabama game was going to go. I thought that's how the Tennessee LSU game was going to go, and I thought how the Tennessee LSU game went was how the Alabama A&M game was going to go.
I mean,
like we got a
crazy
role reversal.
I mean, completely crazy, man.
I know, but see, this is how this rivalry is supposed to be, number 3 versus number 6. And I've talked to several friends that are Bammers, and I'm telling you, they sound worried, like, man, I think we're going to have a tough time with Tennessee. And I'm like, yes, now finally where it should be, where the good Lord intended it. But, yes, I think it's going to be a great game. Defensively, both look kind of similar. Like, Tennessee's front 7 is actually pretty dang good. They're not a slouch defense, especially on the front 7. It's kind of like Alabama's situation, like the secondary could be better. Because right now, I think I was looking, we ranked 10th in the country in rush defense, and we held LSU to 55 yards rushing the whole game. And like I said, it'll be interesting to see. And that's the thing a lot of people don't know, but Tennessee does that too. If Tennessee wins, we light cigars. Both teams do it. It's whoever wins.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fun one, Jordan. We appreciate my man Jordan from Chattanooga calling into the show there. Or in the show here. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, this is Mr. William Newman from Dandridge, Tennessee. How you doing today, brother?
Doing great, and yourself?
Well, I tell you what. I called in last week on your show. I told you, that go ahead, start Milroe, let Bryce get a rest. But, Steven, something bothers me. Do they not teach the quarterback how to read a defense at the University of Alabama? Here's why I asked that. Because I was watching A&M stick 9 guys in the box at one point, and he was still trying to run the football. Is that the quarterback or is that the offensive coordinator?
That is more so of Bill O'Brien not trusting or believing that Jalen Milroe can distribute the football, because there were several times against A&M where O'Brien called some of the same plays, whether it was run up the middle, whether it was a design run to a particular side, and A&M kind of knew and saw that it was coming. It just did not feel like O'Brien had the confidence that, okay, Milroe can truly distribute this football.
Well, and here's the problem. He can distribute the football. I'm not even going to knock the man. You know, I mean, he can distribute it. When you're in that type of situation, whoever you go with, you got to trust them. I mean, because, you know, Alabama's motto has always been next man up, because you always one play away. So you got to be able to trust them. And if he doesn't trust him that much, then that just makes me worry about where's our depth at.
Well, right behind Milroe would be Ty Simpson, the freshman from Tennessee, played at Westview High School, did win a state championship there during his time there, and Ty has a strong arm also. And this is a guy that played well in the spring game and has increased that arm strength. And a lot of fans are wondering, could we see Ty Simpson out there on the field? That would be interesting. But once again, Coach Saban's looking at Jeff Allen, Dr. Kane, and Dr. Andrews going, can we get Bryce on this field?
Oh, well, most definitely. But, you know, at that point, you know, and something that shocked me, when he lost it, when he threw that interception, so he had 3 turnovers, why didn't he at that point just say, because that is un-Saban-like. You know, a person turns the ball over 3 times, you're usually riding the bench after that. And for some reason, he wouldn't give the kid a shot. And I'm like, hey, if your quarterback's turning the ball over, give the next guy a shot, especially if you're at home, because next week you got to go to Tennessee, and it ain't going to be an easy game up there.
It's not. So for me, I think what Saban did there, and I'm not saying I'm inside Coach Saban's head, but if I could be for like a few seconds, for a few moments, I would say Milroe was already in the game with a lot of anxiety having to play in the place of Bryce Young. So the turnovers affected him, and I feel like Saban kind of had the idea of, if I pull him, does this shake, affect, rattle Milroe's confidence, versus if I leave him out there and try to see can he dig himself out of it, which we've seen Saban pull Jalen Hurts out of a game and throw Tua Tagovailoa in there in the national championship. We saw this before. So to me, I'm wondering why it didn't happen there against A&M. But at the same time, I can sense where Saban is saying, well, the young man's playing anxiously because first start against A&M, Bryce is not in the game, and yes, turnovers, but do I pull him? Will the matter be made worse? So I can see where Saban's coming with that. But at the same time, Saban has also been the one to go, you play your best. And if the best is not, at that moment, not doing what they're supposed to do, then you got to make an adjustment somewhere.
Well, you know, I'm going to leave you with this, man. By the way, I love your show. Please keep up the good work. I listen to you every chance I get. But, you know, I'm going to leave you with this. You know, with Bryce Young standing on the sideline, and every time Jalen made a big run or do something, you'd see him over there, you know, shaking his arms, you know, reaching out. Somebody with that bad of an injury of a shoulder would not be doing what he was doing. So that just leads me to believe that he could have won if he had wanted to, but why risk it? Because you got number 6 on Tennessee on the road, you know. So let's just get this W right here and go ahead and head on out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate my man William from Tennessee with that call there. And just echoing William's point there, Eli, if you go back and you watch the embrace between Bryce and Jalen Milroe, Bryce kind of leaned the shoulder into Milroe, trying to give him the hug. He leaned the shoulder in, and Milroe kind of grabbed the throwing shoulder of Bryce Young in the hug. So if there was no tension or pain there, And there were a lot of things that Bryce was doing on the sideline with that throwing shoulder where the AC joint sprain was, that if Bryce was really in some pain, he's not doing those things with that shoulder. And Saban also talked about where in the fourth quarter, Bryce was like, Coach, I want to go in. Coach, I want to play. I want to finish. I want to play. Bryce is like begging Coach Saban to get out there in the fourth quarter. So all of that leads me to believe he's fine. It's just that situation where where Coach Saban was like, Bryce, I know you're good. I know you can play, but let's just keep you right here because the game the following week, which is this week, Tennessee, big matchup. We need you for that one. But we grabbed this call. Here you're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Man, what's going on, man? I'm JG, man, out here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
JG, what's happening, man?
Man, I'll tell you what, hey, I'm a UT Knoxville fan, man. I bleed orange, bro. Hey, but the thing about it is, I got a lot of respect for Alabama. You guys have been doing it big for a long time. You know it. About 15 years, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got us, and we've been laying low, licking our wounds, man. You know what I'm saying, this whole time. And I feel like this year, man, we've got a proven product out here on the field, that's going to be able to contend and definitely, go to war, man, when it comes to this game coming this Saturday in Knoxville, Tennessee, because it's going to be wild out there, bro. It's going to be wild. It's going to be loud.
I'm going to say this. What Josh Heupel has done, JG, it's been remarkable. Year two of Josh Heupel has been kind of fun. It's been fun to watch that. It's been fun to watch what Hendon Hooker has been able to do. And then the receivers of Tennessee, I mean, you could pick your poison with those guys. Bama's got its work cut out for it.
Right. Our DBs, man, what I'm saying, like, they're kind of suspect at the end of the day, but I mean, I feel like every day they're getting better. And I mean, they showed out a little bit during this LSU game, what I'm saying, stepping up. Warren Burrell, he's out for the rest of the year. I mean, we've got a lot of different guys, man, in our arsenal, they're ready to step up and give their all for Tennessee. So I'm excited for the challenge come this Saturday, facing number 3 Alabama. You guys, what I'm saying, your defense is on point. What I'm saying, you guys definitely set the standard when it comes to SEC defenses. And the next thing, though, the offense, I mean, I know without Bryce Young, you guys, it's just not firing the same. It's not. But, if Bryce could start, this Saturday, that'd be great because I anticipate, a good game for sure. And it's going to be a high-scoring game. And definitely the first half is going to tell it all.
First half?
I definitely believe that.
Absolutely. Appreciate Jet. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to ask how you're feeling, man, how you think that first half's going to go.
That first half for me is going to be it's going to be trying to feel it all the way out because I know the talent that Hooker brings at quarterback for Tennessee. If Bryce Young goes, covering Bryce Young now for year 2 of him starting, I know what Bryce Young is. So that first half, you get both of those quarterbacks in a fire show. It's going to be a feel-it-out type of first half, which that's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Hey, I'll tell you what. Also, though, Tennessee, these last 3 games, top 25 challenges, we've had all running quarterbacks, and we've contained every single one of them. So I'm excited. I'm excited either way. I'm just ready for the challenge.
Absolutely. Appreciate my man JG from Tennessee there with that call right here to the show. A lot of interaction from Tennessee guys. Bring it on in here. Appreciate you guys in the conversation. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
How's it going, Steve? It's Tobias out here, man, in the sunshine of California, that Golden State. How you doing?
Doing great, my man. How we feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. I'm really tripping out just like not today's calls, but in the chat on Saturday, and just kind of some of the stuff we've been talking about as Alabama fans. I'm just kind of tripping out, Steve. I'm a little confused, man. Everybody was crying about run the ball, run the ball. I thought we wanted to run the ball so bad. And this is what I was worried about, because you have the Heisman Trophy winner as your number one quarterback. So for everyone, like Nick Saban said, I'm a preacher, man, I'm not going to use profanity, but he was saying basically people think that we just doo-doo 5 stars. Like, we need to, pump the brakes a little bit, just a little bit. These schools all have scholarship athletes. So when we act like Magic is just supposed to come off the bench, I'm thinking we really are taking for granted what greatness looks like. There's only one Bryce Young in the nation right now. And we throw the ball for a reason. We throw now in Bama to loosen up for the run. That's the concept now. So Bama fans kind of try to get used to that, and I get it, like stupid stuff like, we're not going to run the ball on the 1 yard line. Now, that was a dumb call, I would say, by OB, but no, we getting our wish. Everybody I heard like 4 Bama fans talking about, I don't see why we don't put in Milroe. We should put in Milroe. Y'all think these coaches don't know the players? And I don't mean to sound like, scolding or nothing, but it's just kind of irritating, like, that we think the coaches who are in the locker room don't know the players. I don't see why Hill's not in. It's like, I don't know why he's not in either, but I know that the coaches do. So we got to pump the brakes. Really listen, people, to Saban's conferences. He's not acting. He's telling us every week where the team is. Just like last year, he told us the whole year, and we got in the chat and we were mad. He kept telling us they wasn't where they needed to be, that they needed to grow. And Steve, it's the same thing here. Jalen Milroe, man, this is kid. We're not running down kids on the show, but it was what it was. He was turning the ball over. So, you have 3 fumbles and an interception. I heard someone just say, I don't see why we didn't bench him. Obviously, because there's nobody that can come off the bench. The coaches have to know that. And also, why would we damage the psyche of this kid and have him be damaged goods like they do quarterbacks in the NFL, put him out there too quick? He was never supposed to be in. We weren't expecting Bryce to be hurt. So anyway, got that off my chest. I'll also say our defense is killing it right now. Like, did we all watch the same game? Texas A&M's touchdowns were on turnovers. 14 points, then a 3-point not PAT, but field goal. That's where their points came from. The score should have been 30-3. 30-3. If we don't miss 2 field goals and we do what we're supposed to do with the ball, the game is 30-3. So, and I want to pump the brakes on, our secondary is suspect. Our secondary is not suspect. You're going to get beat at corner at some point, people. That's just bound to happen. But when I look at how the game ended, when I look at we were always in phase. People weren't running free down the field like they did last year in the Tennessee game, which hopefully we can clean up this week. Because most of the time, this is an amazing quarterback we're going up against. But he does thrive on his first and second read. That's the game plan, first and second read in this tempo offense. I believe we got the defense to shut it down, quite frankly. I'm not sure that we have the offense to go toe to toe with them without Bryce Young. So this just kind of emphasizes, Stephen, to me, the need for Bryce Young. By the way, to all of us as fans, we're going to Knoxville. The fan base is going to be, turned up. And remember what happened last year with Bryce in hostile environments. Those of us who have played in hostile environments know what it is. Bro, it ain't no joke. It's going down this Saturday. So hopefully Bryce can play because it's always nice to see. By the way, man, this Jimbo Fisher, man, did you hear him? He was saying, oh, well, we had people out too. We had our second string quarterback in. No, you didn't. You had your first string quarterback in that you thought was first string the first three games, and then you pulled him and brought in what was the second string quarterback, and now you're back to your original first string quarterback. That's very different than J-Mo. And by the way, I hope this kid does well. I want to end with this, man. On Saturday, it was good to see a great game. It really was a great game. We made mistakes and all of that, but it was just like exciting to see. I had a heart attack about 4 times throughout the game. I can't understand our unforced errors and stuff, but I will say this. If Bama goes into Tennessee and plays their best game, and Tennessee plays their best game, guess what? We're going to blow the brakes off of Tennessee. I said it. Everybody's tiptoeing around it, but that's the truth. Now, if we go in there and want to do 3 turnovers, 4 turnovers, got J-Mo, he's scared. By the way, Stephen, did you see his eyes after the first fumble? I was watching on obviously, I was at home. Me and my wife looked at each other. I said, babe, he's done. I saw it in his eyes. He was rattled. And so J-Mo, if he goes in this week, he just has to believe in himself, trust in his mechanics, and do the little things right. By the way, we have good receivers. The problem is when you know the ball ain't going to come to you, and that's a maturity thing, it's hard when you know the ball ain't going to get to you. And we saw that with Jalen Hurts. Anyway, man, listen, I'll throw some more money in the chat. I appreciate everybody. I hope everybody is sending a whole lot of good wishes and that these kids act right. Praying for the family of that boy from Tennessee. I saw a news report where the Tennessee safety has been arrested. Praying for him, praying for the boy that he got upset at. And there was an incident, they said, because I want all of these athletes to make it, man. I just want to see a good game, and I want to see our best against their best. And whoever wins, they win. But if we do bring our best, Steve, come on, man. It's about to be straight up roll tide.
Appreciate my man Tobias from Fresno calling in, giving us his thoughts on the show about this game right here. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Louis Ferguson, Jacksonville, Florida. Originally from Mobile, Alabama.
How we feeling, man?
Good. How about you?
I cannot complain. You got Bama and Tennessee this weekend.
Yes, I'm a big-time Bama fan. I feel like dating back to that Vanderbilt game. I believe our offense was clicking on all 8 cylinders in that. Was it the Vanderbilt game? The game that Bryce got hurt in? No, the game that Bryce got hated. And the offense was clicking on 8 cylinders. If Bryce come back and play the way he's playing, I think we will blow Tennessee out. In the way the defense is playing, I think we have a chance with that team. I think that team just not really found this groove.
Right, Alabama's going to have Bryce Young back for this game. I know Saban mentioned today he's getting his throwing shoulder reevaluated by the team doctors. Even when he was on the sideline against Texas A&M, he was still bouncing around, moving around, and it made me believe that shoulder is not in that much pain.
I don't think so, neither. I think he could have played, and I truly believe they held him out for cautionary reasons. Why risk it when you got Tennessee the next week? But I think we're ready, though. I think we'll be ready for Tennessee. The secondary stepped up. That Kool-Aid McKinstry is on a whole nother level, man. That guy's going to be a big-time cornerback in the NFL. He got another year to play. He's going to be a big-time cornerback for Alabama. McKinstry, he's locking it down, and Terry and Arnold, they're kind of locking it down back there pretty good. You're going to get some running backs, but for the most part, the secondary is kind of doing their part. And we got a good defensive rush. Will Anderson, that kid is going to be the first player taken in the draft. Will Anderson and the other guy, Dallas Turner. Yes, sir. I think right now, if Bryce come back, I think we're the best team in college football. I've seen Georgia. They got fast linebackers, but their defensive line just don't have it this year. I think Alabama's the best team in college football right now. If Bryce Young come back healthy and what they already have, I don't see no one can really beat them with a healthy Bryce Young. And the receivers are starting to run their routes and starting to getting open and everything. I think the offensive line, the maturity of the offensive line, and Jameer Gibbs. Oh yeah, I think we all right. We have depth in just about every position. So this is one of the deepest young rushers, but it's one of the deepest rushers in college football. So and I think Alabama's gonna. If Bryce come back, I think we're gonna have a truly honest. We're gonna win it all.
Absolutely.
Has a big chip on his shoulder. Has a big chip dating back from Georgia. And I hear Georgia fans running their mouth, but they knew when we had Williams and we had Williams and the other guy, Messi, they didn't have a clue for us. When we had both of them, they didn't know what to do. We went tempo on Georgia. They didn't understand how to play tempo. And they could stop the run, but they couldn't stop the tempo. And if we run tempo with anybody in the country, nobody can stop that tempo. Tennessee drew up the recipe on Georgia last year, and we followed behind them. They just didn't have the athletes to do it, and we did. That's why we beat them, and we would have beat them if we had not suffered injuries. We would have won the championship last year. But my hat goes out to Kirby Smart. We love him and everything, but I'm big time Roll Tide for the rest of my life.
Appreciate my man Lewis calling in from Florida, giving his thoughts here on the show. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is Michael from Columbia, South Carolina. How you doing?
Doing great, Michael, and yourself?
Good. How you feeling, Steven, about everything?
Well, it's Tennessee this week. First time in a long time. You got a top 10 matchup in Rocky Top and Neyland and Knoxville between Bama and the Volunteers. So right now, I feel good. The first quarter of that game, y'all might want to check on me in the first quarter. Make sure I'm not over sweating, but I'm good for right now.
Me too, Steven. I think I might have a couple panic attacks in this game. But what I want to say, a couple things I want to talk about, and some questions I want to ask you. But first, I want to talk about, I've always said this. It's one thing when you have a backup quarterback when they have to come in and play. When they have to come in and play. Like halfway through the game. When on the other side you have to play a whole 4 quarters. It changes. It changes how you play when you do that. So Milroe having to play this entire 4 quarters in this game, the pressure to me was on him a lot. And even though he had the interception and the fumbles, I still feel like he played well. Being his first time actually starting in a full game against a very, very difficult defense, I feel like he did a great job. But who I want to say is Trayshawn Holden's got to play better. Trayshawn Holden, 6'3", maybe one of the best, physical receivers I've seen for Bama in a long time. And he has the opportunity to start alongside Jermaine Burton and Ja'Cory Brooks. And he only has I think the stats say -5 yards, Steven. I think that's correct. He's got to do better than that. Trayshawn Holden's got to play better than he played in that game. How do you feel about that?
He's got to play better. That they all have to play better. Trayshawn's got to play better. Burton's got to play better. I mean, people thought Burton would be of the same mold, if not a faster than what John Mechie was last year. And we saw how consistent Mechie was, and Burton has not brought that this season. So Burton's got to play better. Holden's got to play better. Ja'Cory Brooks has got to be more consistent. Want to see more of JoJo Earl since he's back healthy. I don't know when Tyler Harrell's going to take the field. I thought last week was supposed to have been the week. It was set up to be the week. Harrell did not play. So I don't know when we will see Tyler Harrell.
And that's my thing, too, Stephen, with that. When Burton and Craig Holden, when they seem like they can't play their best, even though I believe that they can play better, put those other guys in. Start playing more Ja'Cory Brooks. Start playing more of Isaiah Barnes. Start putting in more of Christian Leary, Kendrick Law, those guys, Shaz Preston. Start putting those guys in the game. Because to me, if Burton and Holden can't seem to play the way they're supposed to, that's why I'll start putting in Ja'Cory Brooks. Start putting more of JoJo Earl in. Start putting more of Isaiah Barnes, Kendrick Law, Shaz Preston. These guys, to me, I believe, can kind of take over when Burton and Craig Holden can't play. And I agree with you, Stephen. The beginning of the season, I really did believe that Holden and Burton, to me, were going to play the best. I think obviously they're not Jameson Williams and John Mechie. They're not those guys. They're never going to be those two players. But I thought by having Burton coming from Georgia, they win the national championship, having Craig Holden, step up, I thought that those two guys, to me, would play as better as they would. And it just, to me, it seems to have been disappointing to see how they played. But I agree. They can't do it, Stephen. Stop putting them on those other guys. I mean, how you feel about that, too?
I mean, you have to. This is what makes this Alabama program under Nick Saban what it has become is if you're not going to do your job, there's a young guy right behind you, just as talented as you, probably even hungrier than you, that we're going to put out here, and we will live with the young guy's mistakes. We will live with it. We've seen this time and time and time again. Regardless of position, if the young guy's hungry and the young guy's ready to snatch the throne, Nick Saban will let the young guy snatch the throne, and we'll live with the mistakes that happen. So if you're not getting the production consistently from a Trayshawn Holden or Jermaine Burton, then you need to go to an Isaiah Bond. We've seen him make plays. You need to go more to a Kobe Prentice. We've seen him make plays. You need to go more to a Kendrick Law. You need to go more to a JoJo Earl and see, can these young guys who are trying to snatch the opportunity, let's see for real what these guys can do out here.
And then two more, and I'll let you go, Stephen. With the Tennessee offense, I'm really worried about this because you got Hendon Hooker, who can not just throw the football, but he can run the football and effectively. And they have weapons on offense. I mean, Jabari Small, Charles Tillman didn't play the game against LSU. He actually declined to play that game against LSU to prepare for the game against Alabama this Saturday. So they didn't see Tillman, but you get Charles Tillman back as well this Saturday, and we got to deal with him. Small, Jalen Hyatt, Brew McCoy, who had 140 yards against LSU. Ramel Keaton, who's also been playing well. These guys, we have to find a way on defense to stop. And I'm very worried about Hooker running the football, and then also the passing game, which he's opened up to Tillman and Hyatt. I mean, how do we stop that defensively?
Well, first and foremost, Michael, is going to be the defensive line for Alabama. They got to have some batted balls. And this is Otis, Dale, Byron Young, Jamil Burrows. They got to get their hands up and bat the ball down. You got to do that to affect Hendon Hooker. If you cannot bat the ball down, or if you cannot collapse that pocket to where he can't step up and he can't break contain of it, it's going to be a long, difficult ball game. So this week right here, Coach Saban, Freddie Roach, they're working a lot with get your hands up, D lineman. You got to bat some balls down.
And then lastly, Stephen, two-part question, but first, will we possibly see Bryce Young play this game? And then lastly, I'm going to go ahead and give you my score prediction for this game. I'm going to say 40-17.
40-17 in favor of Bama from my man Michael of South Carolina. Do we see Bryce Young play? My gut's saying yes, because after last week and Bryce begging Coach Saban to get in the game, even though Saban held him out for precautionary reasons, that just tells me the shoulder is not in that much pain at all. I know Bryce is being reevaluated by the team doctors and what have you, but my gut is telling me Bryce got the rest last week that he needed. I think he'll be back this week. Appreciate Michael from South Carolina for the call there. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? Your boy Elijah from Jersey. How you feeling tonight, man?
Doing great, Elijah, and yourself?
Oh, man, I'm hanging in there. Kind of excited. My fiance bought me some tickets to the Iron Bowl this year, so I'll be in the building for that, all the way from Jersey, man.
Man, so what you're saying is I got to meet you at the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, you got to meet me. We got to have a couple cold ones together, man. But, yeah, I called in, man. You got to call a spade, Steve. Milroe, it is his first start, but he got a long way to go. I mean, you could just tell from the dude as soon. Did you notice, Steve? He has sometimes a hard time even catching the snaps. He takes his eyes off the ball, man. He's fumbling the snaps. He is totally uncomfortable in that offense. You could tell he's trying to get his eyes up to try to read the defense. The first thing is, Saban said it today, you got to reevaluate your personnel. You got to know what your players can do and can't do, what they're good at, what they're great at, what they're bad at. Bill O'Brien can't have this young man trying to run Bryce Young's offense. He's not developed enough to go to the first read, the second read, the third read, and then hit the check down. He's not there yet. This man needs to be put in a simplified offense. He needs to make maybe 2 reads and then use his athletic ability. If you notice, the first thing what he does is he'll get the snap if he catches it correctly. Then the second thing, Steve, his eyes go right down to the rush. He's always looking down. And if you notice, he starts to fade away to his throwing side. That's why he's always scrambling to his right. And then he's fading away in the pocket when it's not even pressure there. He's just fading away, falling back, just falling backwards. It's like he's looking to run. You could tell a lot about a quarterback by looking right at his feet. His feet is always in a position to take off instead of stepping into a throw like he did with the slant pattern, the crossing pattern. Throws like that should be in his package, in his game plan. Crossing routes, slants, 5-yard out, curl routes, things like that. This man should probably only have to make 2 reads and then take off or hit a check down. All this, I just feel, Steve, the longer the ball is in his hands, the more he starts to think. Then he starts to make mistakes. He's just not there mentally yet, Steve, to sit there and do what Bryce Young does. And I'm not saying he can't learn. By all means, anybody can learn anything. It's just the fact that I don't think Bill O'Brien can get this man to this level that he needs to be to run this type of offense, because I think Bill O'Brien is clueless. If you can't sit there and see that you're running an offense that this kid is not comfortable with, then you shouldn't have that job. His job is to put these players in the best position possible. The best positions to help them succeed, help this offense succeed. And I don't think Bill O'Brien is doing that. It was clear as day that this kid couldn't run this style of offense. Do RPOs. If you notice Texas A&M, they secondary, they safeties, Steve. They safeties had their heels 10 yards away from the line of scrimmage. 10 yards. That means we don't respect this kid's arm. Hey, we're going to load this stuff up. And then this is my other thing. I think Milroe's a great athlete. I don't think he's a QB right now. I think he's an athlete playing the quarterback position. That's how I feel. Until he gets somebody in there to show him the mechanics, because his mechanics right now are way off. He's just going to be a great athlete with the ball in his hands, at the quarterback position. But I did want to touch on some bright spots. I think Helms played a good game finally. He kind of stepped up. He had some big stops there. Usually Helms, he get caught once or twice out of position, but this game he did step up. And I just wanted to give a little insight on Bryce Young. I hope he does play this week, but Steve, sometimes you can have a shoulder injury, and it's not so much, can he move the shoulder? It's also like when he's throwing the ball, the total range of motion. How does it feel? Not only that, but how much velocity can he put on this ball, with that throwing shoulder? That's what I think they need to really evaluate to see. Because if he's playing against Tennessee, he's going to have to make some throws in some tight windows. So he's going to have to put some velocity. Even when you're throwing that ball deep down the field, you're going to have to be able to wing it. So I think maybe that might be the part where he could be a little iffy at. But like you said, on the sideline, he didn't look like he was having much problems. But when you put him in a game time situation, does he have the arm strength with that shoulder to get the ball in these tight situations where, he's definitely going to need a strong shoulder to wing that ball in there. But those are just my thoughts, man. I think, like I say, I think the young man Milroe, he can learn the QB position, but I think Bill ain't the one to lead him there. I think they got to find another QB coach to get this kid up to speed, But thanks for taking my call, Steve.
Appreciate my man Elijah from Jersey calling in. Guys, continue to hold on to the call segment right here. Continue to hold through. We got a couple of super chats to get to. So we got my man Tobias from Fresno with that $20 donation. The super chats. Appreciate Tobias. And then we got PJ Steins with that $9.99 in the super chats helping out as well. We go to a quick little call topic. This one on Jalen Hurts here, quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles still perfect at 5-0 on the season. And for Jalen Hurts, a guy that is in the top 10 among quarterbacks in the league for passing yards, completion percentage, yards per pass attempt, quarterback rating, and passer rating. Jalen Hurts ain't playing around, folks. He ain't playing. 5-0. Eagles are looking like a team that can make a deep playoff run, maybe get to a Super Bowl, possibly, keep your fingers crossed. But Jalen Hurts is playing good ball right now. If you're still on the phone lines, hold through for 10 minutes, or you can call back with the next 10 minutes. When we get back, we'll dive into this conversation. Could Alabama win on Saturday with Jalen Milroe? Do we see Bryce Young making the return? We'll talk about it after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're back into the action. from the break. Hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got the man Eli Walker in the production studio, handling the thing there behind the scenes. And appreciate you guys checking us out today. All the calls, the donations so far. Got to remind you on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. We got the Bama Standard with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC linebacker, and Bama legend Marvin Constant, a two-time national championship running back and USFL champion Bo Scarborough. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Also, two incredible guests, former Alabama wide receiver Antonio Carter, former Bama linebacker Jarrell Harris. You don't want to miss the fun, the laughs, the Bama legends, the conversation. That is the Bama Standard. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. But now, we get into this here. So, Alabama's quarterback thing here with Bryce Young, Jalen Milroe, this game against Tennessee, facing Hendon Hooker, Josh Heupel, and the Volunteers. Coach Saban said today, Bryce Young got reevaluated, got his arm re-looked at by Jeff Allen, by Dr. Kane, by Dr. Andrews, by the entire medical staff, just to see, okay, where is Bryce in relation to this matchup here against the Volunteers? And you want to make sure the AC joint in his throwing shoulder is fine, where he has full range of motion throwing the football, that he can put velocity or juice on the ball, that he has the torque, as I should say, to throw the ball, distribute the ball wherever he wants to have it be there on the field. And like we mentioned, Eli, in the first topic and then during the first call segment, that Bryce was on the sideline in the fourth quarter. He was literally begging Coach Saban, yo, put me out here, put me in, I can play, let me finish, yo, can I get back out here? Like, Bryce is literally begging Coach Saban to get back out there on the field, and Coach is like, cool off, man, chill out now, chill out, stay your butt on the sideline. We know you good. We know you can play. We know you want to be out there, but we don't want to risk nothing. We want to be totally cautious with you because we know that you have an NFL future waiting for you after the end of this season. So Bryce Young wanted to play in the fourth quarter. The Alabama coaching staff held him out, but did get the reevaluation today. So depending on how he goes about this week of practice, we more than likely will see Bryce Young in this matchup. But let's always play this game right here. In the event that Saban again goes, you know what, Bryce, maybe not this week, and you have to go Jalen Milroe again. The question that all Alabama fans are worrying themselves with is, if you go with Jalen Milroe to Rocky Top, if you go with Jalen Milroe to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, the checkered field there, can you win with Milroe? Can you win effectively with Milroe? And I think there's a possibility, but a formula has to be followed. And the formula is on screen now. So if you're going to win with Milroe, number one, Bama's defense is going to play out of their skull. They got to play out of their mind. Like, they got to just shut Hendon Hooker all the way down. And that's a tall task for Pete Golding and his defense because this is a Tennessee team that's averaging 46.8 points per game, 3 40-plus point games, including a 60-point game against Akron. You look at Hendon Hooker, he's completing 70%, 1,432 passing yards, 10 touchdowns. He has not thrown a pick all year. Got 3 rushing touchdowns. Tennessee's got weapons at receiver all over, 4 to 5 guys you have to account for. The run game is good. Josh Heupel has been tremendous in year 2. Alabama's defense has got to play out of its skull. I mean, you got to get like 8 or 9 sacks of Hendon Hooker. You got to put this kid on the ground several times. You want to talk about being able to win here with Jalen Milroe. Tennessee's offense can't even be on the field long. Like, Alabama's got to force 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3. It's got to be a perfect game for Bama's defense. Perfect game. They got to be out of their mind if you're going to be able to get this done here with Milroe. Number 2, Bama's got to win time of possession. We're talking about long drives, 10, 12, 15-play drives. And then you got to finish them. Got to be long drives, and you got to be able to lean on the run game with Jahmyr Gibbs, with Chase McClellan, and the rest of the gang there. Like, you got to have Hendon Hooker and Tennessee's offense on the sideline for the majority of the football game. If you're gonna do this with Milroe. And then number 3, Milroe is gonna have to trust the development of what he's been put through in practice. He's gonna have to trust the work that he's been putting in practice and not have the anxiety for a second straight week. I mean, there's a formula for Alabama with Jalen Milroe to beat Tennessee, but defense is going to have to play scary good. Offensively, you got to win time of possession. Like, you got to win that. And then Jalen Milroe being calm, trusting the development of what he's been put in as a player. Like that all those 3 things have got to happen if you're trying to win a game here of this magnitude with Milroe. So Alabama fans are hopeful that Bryce Young plays this week. Because if it's Bryce Young this week, then that throws all the fears out of the window, and you got the 2 best quarterbacks on the field, Bryce Young and Hendon Hooker, and may the best man win. And that's kind of what you want. That is what you want. The 2 best guys, the 2 most elite trigger men, and let the chips fall where they may. So hopefully you get Bryce Young. Once again, my gut feeling after watching Bryce just kind of bouncing around on the sideline over the weekend, kind of like me when I was playing high school football. Coach put me out here. Where seeing Bryce bouncing around like that, begging Saban to go in, just tells me that Bryce Young is going to play. But hopefully we see him out here against Tennessee. We take a break right here, folks. When we get back, we return to the phone lines. We grab a few more of your calls. Bring them in here. We'll be back after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full-year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, we're back in here, folks, on a Monday, getting that work weekend, that 3rd Saturday in October rivalry week off to a rockin' start. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. And we go to the phone lines right now to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steve, I got to get the sweat wiped off. I've been having to run this chat. Peanut's been helping me and Spencer. Whew, I thought I was going to call you on the phone to get some help. How's it going in Birmingham?
Doing great, Waylon. Doing fantastic. We got Bama, Tennessee, Rocky top and nailing this weekend. Bryce Young got the shoulder reevaluated. Looks like my gut's telling me he's going to go in this game, but we'll see how he goes the rest of this week in practice, but I'm excited for this one.
Well, we'll make it quick. Texas A&M, their starting quarterback was out with a broke hand, ending season, a career-ending injury there. And King, he was the second-string starter along with Milroe Saturday night. And if he hadn't had those 2 fumbles and 1 turnover, he had 3 touchdowns. It wasn't a long ball, but he had 3 touchdowns. It wouldn't have looked so bad, but I mean, everything's going to be all right. I'll give a little 2 statistics here, and I'll get out of here. We hadn't played Tennessee and Knoxville with both teams being undefeated really since 1960. But now in 1989, we played them in Legion Field. Both teams was undefeated, and we won 47-30. And, Tennessee is running 128, if I'm not correct. Am I correct? Is that pass defense or total defense? Did I read that wrong? Is that 128 and pass defense? Did I get that right?
I think that's pass defense correct there, Wagner.
I thought I did. So pass defense, that's pretty bad when you only got 131 teams. So anyway, I think Bryce will play. I'm like you, Stephen. I believe he will. Milroe had those, 3 turnovers. He would have done pretty good there. It was a dogfight Saturday night. These teams are giving Alabama all they want, and they're going to give them all they want. They're going to have to beat them, and they're going to have to beat them legitimately on the field. It's a prize fight. That's just what it is. We might as well get ready for it. And firing the offensive coordinator in the middle of the season, gosh, that just spells disaster to me, worse than what it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. But I love y'all. Y'all looking good to chat. Great chat tonight. 396 people. Oh, Lord. What a night. I love all y'all. Y'all be safe. I'll see y'all Saturday. We'll watch a ball game together. Love all y'all. Be safe.
Appreciate the President Waylon calling in the second call segment here on a Monday. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve. This is me, Mike from Chicago.
Mike, what's happening?
Not much. I think I'm piggybacking off of Tobias. Everybody's saying we put this person in, put that person in. This person shouldn't play. That person shouldn't play. And oh my God, we beat up on O'Brien. And I've called before, and I've said it before. You got the GOAT. The GOAT knows what's going on with his team. He knows who should play. He knows who should not play. If O'Brien is not calling the right calls, we saw on TV what he's going to tell them. Run the beeping ball. He's giving, what he call ass chewings on the sidelines. It just mind boggles me when we're feeling this person should play, that person should play. Where do we think Nick Saban is? What do we think? Nick Saban is just totally in the dark. He doesn't know what's going on when it comes to his team.
I don't think Nick Saban is totally in the dark at all. I mean, of course, Saban wants to see a complete showing from the team, and there have been moments where the team has looked great. There have been moments where the team has struggled a bit, but Saban absolutely not in the dark at all. I mean, when you're getting paid over $11 million and your contract is looking like $93.6 million through 2028, 2030, ain't no way you're in the dark.
I totally agree. I mean, it was on the Nick Saban show when he actually wrote up player by player what each person was doing on the last play. He knew what was going on. He knows the offense. He is an excellent. He's not a CEO type of head coach, maybe like Bobby Bowden and those guys who just. He knows what's going on the team. So when these things are happening and everybody's saying, "Okay, put this person in, stop this happening," Nick Saban's won 7 championships, so he knows what's going on. And that's why I say I put faith in the man that knows what's going on. I think the players at certain times need to play better. Jalen did not play well enough. He did not make his reads, in which the last question that was asked in the press conference today, he needs to get rid of anxiety and trust his training. I think we can win Milroe. I think we can win with Bryce. Either one, I think we can go there to Tennessee and win. The thing is, everybody has to do what they practice every day. That's what they have to do. Even look at what your guy, Brian Branch. Great guy, great ball player. He commits a pass interference and pulls on a jersey. I mean, so it happens. These things, brain farts happen. People have bad games. People do different things. I trust the GOAT will make sure this team is prepared to win. He's playing the right personnel. He's playing people who knows the playbook. He's playing people who knows what they need to do on the field. You just can't put anybody. There's points in time you were calling for Blackshear to be out there. We don't even know if Blackshear knows the plays. We don't even know if some of these guys who we're asking to play even knows the plays to actually be out there on the field. So let's trust the GOAT. As I said, we got a guy on the sideline that's won 7 national championships. So things will be okay. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Mike calling in there, giving us his thoughts on the show. We continue with your calls here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Roll Tide, Stephen. Roll Tide, coming off of a great win Saturday. What's going on, brother?
Can't complain, William. Can't complain at all. I mean, it was a dogfight. You know, Jimbo Fisher gave us all he could give us, and we kind of knew that Fisher was going to do that, but Alabama, despite some adversity there, came away with a 24-20 win. You remain undefeated. You take this and you go to Knoxville with this, and hopefully you go to Knoxville with Bryce Young, which, in my opinion, I think that Bryce Young will be prepared to play. I think he'll be prepared. I think he'll be prepared to go. So hopefully Bama will be making this trip here with Bryce Young.
Yes, sir. Which them doctors, man, they have some great medicine they can give them the boys and take that pain away. And no wonder he'd be hopping around. I'd be hopping around too.
Absolutely. I mean, I trust Jeff Allen. I trust Dr. Andrews. I trust Dr. Lau Kane. They've been in the medicine business 20, 30 plus years. More and I have been doing this thing, covering Alabama football. So if Jeff Allen, Dr. Kane, and Dr. Andrews are on it, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yes, sir. I agree. Yeah, I'm anxious to see this game here Saturday. I mean, if Bryce is okay to go, that's okay. If not, we got another accurate passer in the group there if we need him. So, yeah, bring Ty if we need him. Whatever we need there. I'm going to trust, like everybody else is saying, I'm going to trust the coach and trust the process. Roll down Tide.
Absolutely. Appreciate William calling in there from Iowa, giving his thoughts here on the show. We got this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How are we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, see you there. It's Robert from Mobile.
Robert, what's happening, man?
Hey, man, it's one of the business time I've ever seen you show. Like a national championship victory. So the calls are lined up.
I'm Robert. I'm looking at Eli behind the glass, and Eli's like, "What the world? They just keep coming."
You were the first one to let this say that Bryce was begging to get in the game Saturday. I didn't hear anybody else say that. So I agree with you. That's a great sign. If he's anxious to get in the game, feeling like he can play, then I feel like we're confident he'll be able to play against Tennessee. And I think Nick Saban's playing the long game. He's like a good strategist. He's weighing, hey, the worst thing happens if we lose this game and we beat Tennessee, when we win all out, we're still good. We're still golden. So why risk you, Bryce, now when I don't have to? I mean, when it's not absolutely necessary. So he's playing the long game. If we lose, okay, all we gotta do is keep on. All we gotta do is keep on winning. With you, Bryce, we can keep on winning. So I think that's why he didn't let him play. And then that's the strategy. It's a long game, and now he gets the best of both worlds. He gets to win. He gets Jalen Milroe more time reps, and he gets to rest Bryce for the Tennessee game. Because Tennessee is the best team, not named Alabama, not named Georgia, not named Ohio State. They're the fourth best team in the country. And the AP poll with Michigan and Clemson ahead of them is a joke. Tennessee beats Michigan and Clemson on a neutral site easily. So, yeah, they're the fourth best team. But they're the best team Alabama's going to play all season. They're the best team Georgia's going to play all season. And it's remarkable. They've gotten back to this level. This is actually a game again. We weren't too long ago. People want to end the rivalry. Why Alabama keeps playing Tennessee, and of course the Alabama fans were saying, "Hey, it's not going to always be this way," and you all don't remember when they were beating us in this rivalry. So their team's going to be rocking. Their fans are going to be definitely rocking on Saturday because it's been 15 seasons without tasting a victory cigar. So they're going to desperately want it. And they've finally got a team that's capable of giving it to them. So, yeah, if we can survive that, And we're good. I think we'll go for the rest of the regular season, and then on to the SEC championship game, which hopefully we win out the rest of the season. That'll be nice to win, but we won't have to win SEC championship to go to the playoff. But Tennessee is definitely, they're as good as we think they are, and they are the biggest threat, which that's good. That's how the team's supposed to go. I do agree with your previous calls too. Milroe showed signs, but there were areas where he definitely needs to work on. And he, being a little timid when it's his first start, maybe he can improve, and hopefully he can improve and get the feel for the game. That was the biggest problem I saw him having. Well, like all the callers say, hey, if we don't turn the ball over 4 times, that game's a cakewalk for us. And so that's the things we have to clean up, which can be cleaned up. And there is some potential. Though I kind of half wondered, dude, with your speed in your hands, are you sure people gave you the best advice to be a quarterback and not a tight end? It's like, I can see you being a first-round draft pick as a tight end. Sure people gave you the best advice and not to go the right route to get to the NFL. But like people said, Jalen, as you said earlier, Jalen developed, and even Mac Jones improved, and Joe Burrows is the ultimate improvement from one season to the next. So, it can happen for him too. It's just feeling with Ben, but none of them will look as big as him, as strong as him, as fast as him. So, man, the tight end position, don't shut the door on that one. But hopefully we'll get Jalen back. Not Jalen. Bryce will be back healthy and stronger and as strong as ever. And like I said, you really made us all feel good with your comments of him begging to get back in the game. You're the first person I heard say that, so I'm really happy to hear about that. And your keys to the game, if Jalen Milroe has to play, were of course spot on. And Bill O'Brien has to design plays around Jalen Milroe's ability. Now, like the previous caller said, he shouldn't have had Bryce the style of football with Jalen Milroe. I understand that for now. But eventually, if he wants to be a quarterback in the NFL, he's going to have to learn to play Bryce Young's style of football, because that's where the quarterback is. So hopefully, if you're not there now, hopefully you'll get there next season. But it can happen. All right, man, we'll probably call you in there later in the week and right for Tennessee.
Absolutely. My man Robert from Mobile calling in, giving his thoughts on the show. We continue with calls. We take this one. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Rambo calling from Georgia. How you doing today, Steven?
Can't complain, Rambo. How are you feeling?
All right, man. I'm ready for this Tennessee game. I just had a couple things to say real quick. I feel like this is Tennessee's rivalry game that it faded away, but people have to realize that Tennessee haven't been ranked pretty good these past couple of years, and they always put up a fight with Alabama, just like last year and the year before. That's just like when Derrick Henry won the Heisman. We beat them by, a couple points? Derrick Henry scored late fourth quarter.
Beat them by 5, 19-14.
And that wasn't even a hype talked about game, but look how competitive that turned out to be. And another thing, I feel like Arkansas and Texas A&M, I came out of that game felt good. Besides the turnovers, I felt real good because you seen that old school Bama ground and pound. Texas A&M know who's going to get the ball. They know where the ball is going to be ran to. Bama still ran the ball. I think Bama ran the ball, 52 times? Something like that.
I think it was 52. I think it was 52, and Bama still got near 300 yards rushing.
That's what I'm saying. So not everybody preaching about the run game. I remember when Bama can line it up, the defensive coordinator know that we finna run the ball, and they still couldn't stop it. So these past 2 games, Arkansas is a heavy run defensive team, not on the perimeter. They start to run good. We did that and mauled them, and we just mauled Texas A&M. So I just really feel like that right there, these past 2 games have been giving me that old school ground and pound, maul somebody. And to be honest, I don't believe in Jalen Milroe. I believe in Ty Simpson. I would never believe in a quarterback that runs better than he throws. You think about what is it? Robinson from Michigan. You got you got a couple running quarterbacks that don't even play. RG3. You know what I'm saying? Like a couple players like that. Even though he did hit the deep bomb, but eventually, reading the defense, it catches up to him. You will not be longer to run the ball. You got to read some defense, and you got to hit them tight windows. You have to do it. I even seen the way Texas A&M started stopping the run. So Bill, he had no choice but to let me see can Milroe get a couple passes off to back them DBs up some. But Milroe couldn't back those DBs up at all. So it really goes on half and half. It goes on Bill O'Brien and it goes on Milroe too. You have to hit the windows. When they make you one-dimensional, you have to make a couple plays to back them up. If you can't back them up at all, they're going to keep blitzing and stopping the run. You have to do something. This is Alabama. You can't just run the dang on ball. Them days are gone, and you're not a running back. So with that, I believe it's going to be the freshman wide receivers from this class, the freshman running backs, Justice and Richard next year, and I believe it's going to be Todd Simpson. That's what I think the future is going to be. And I believe that Bama is going to blow out Tennessee because this is the perfect game. We ground and pound. Tennessee trying to run and gun. This old school Bama running game. I mean, with Jalen Milroe, he can't pass, but you see Bill O'Brien has to do what we've been begging as fans. Run the dang on ball. Now he has no choice, and it's really productive. I really see that run game. It's really productive. And another thing fans have to get about, and I'm out of here, that number one curse. This, I don't know, with these future Bama teams, as soon as they slap number one beside us, Bama, we just think we put the jersey on and we turn into 5-star recruits how we was the man on the high school team and haven't done nothing. So I love when we not number one. I like when we number two, number three. I don't like that number one. When Bama get number one, they play more so not to lose than more so to win the game. I remember they didn't care about a ranking and they played like when Bama first started, it wasn't 5-star recruits. Everybody was talking about Julio, but yeah, Mark Ingram wasn't a 5-star. Greg McElroy wasn't a 5-star. The offensive line was 3 and 4 stars. So it wasn't more so of playing not to lose. It was playing to win with that grit and grind. So that's all I got to say, man. And I feel like Henry T is going to show out because this is his game. He's a scary hitter now. Like Arkansas run-heavy teams, he won't put his nose in all the time, but when you put him on the perimeter, chasing wide receivers, chasing tight ends, this all set up for Henry T right here. I got faith in my boys for Saturday night.
Absolutely, Rambo from Georgia calling into the show. And speaking of Henry T, that's actually the call topic. Henry To'o for the Crimson Tide, the impact for him in this game. Because during his time in Tennessee, Henry T wasn't getting those victory cigars. Last year was his first one. Alabama won 52-24 in Bryant-Denny. So now To'o takes the trip back to Knoxville, Neyland Stadium, where he has a reunion with Hendon Hooker and all of his old teammates. How big will his impact be? Will he lead the team in tackles in this game? Will he have some big hits, some big tackles for loss, some big plays? How big will To'o's impact be against Tennessee? It's a big question. But we go to our final break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we wrap things up with, we got a top 10 matchup between Bama and Tennessee. And we'll preview the important stuff after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
The clutch is popped. We back riding through here on Monday, getting that work week and third Saturday in October. Rivalry week started off for you correctly in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA, and appreciate all of you. All the donations, phone calls, chats, lighting us up, dialogue. It's been fun. I think even Eli is starting to not sweat anymore in the production booth. He's okay. You okay, right, Eli? He's okay. He's all right. Great night for Eli, man. I mean, over 300 people in the chat he got a chance to see. A lot of phone calls he got a chance to take, so Eli's doing his thing. But before we get to the final topic of the conversation, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com for all of your swagger, sauce, drip, fashion, clothing, cultural needs. Check us out right now, TDAwear.com. Get you that gear today. Show the support to the brand, the program, Crimson Tide, supporting Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, student athletes, and us here at TDA. Make us that one-stop shop for all of your clothing gear needs, TDAwear.com. But, this is a top 10 matchup. Alabama number 3, Tennessee number 6, according to the AP poll, this weekend at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. I mean, you got Nick Saban and Josh Heupel. I mean, two really good coaches going at it. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game. I mean, you got Tennessee fans that believe Heupel's the guy. For a long time after Philip Fulmer, you went through Derek Dooley, you went through Lane Kiffin, you went through a lot of coaches, but Josh Heupel, Tennessee fans feel like this is the guy. I mean, they went through Butch Jones, and you got to go brick by brick by brick, and the 23-step program and all of that. And Tennessee feels like now, Josh Heupel, this is it. This is what we needed. Here's the guy. And in year 2, Volunteers 5-0. They're averaging 46.8 points per game offensively. They're giving up 17.8 points per game defensively. Nick Saban, we all know what Nick Saban is. 7-time national champion overall. 6 of those at the University of Alabama. And Saturday at Rocky Top, somebody's going to leave undefeated no more. And somebody's going to leave with a cigar in their mouth. It's going to be a fun matchup right there. But you got 2 quarterbacks, Hendon Hooker and Bryce Young. 2 elite guys going at it. Bryce Young's got 13 or 14 touchdown passes this season. Hendon Hooker has yet to throw a pick. Got 10 touchdown passes, 13 total scores. It's going to be a fire show for both of these quarterbacks. It's going to be fun. It's going to be just an incredible game. And then, for this rivalry, can Tennessee, for the first time in 16 years, get a win over a Nick Saban coached Alabama team? The last time Tennessee beat Alabama, 2006, Eric Ainge was the quarterback, and I think Eric Ainge still had 3 picks in that game. Arian Foster ran through Alabama that year. The last time Tennessee won, the first generation iPhone came out. That was 2006. The last time Tennessee won, I think the first PlayStation was still a thing. PlayStation 2s were making a headway, but the first PlayStation was still a thing. The last time Tennessee won, Fergie was about to drop her first album, The Duchess. Please don't ask me how I know this. I just know random facts. So Fergie was about to drop her first album. So there you go, folks. A little bit of pop culture reference, if you will, coming from yours truly. I tend to do that from time to time. But Alabama, Tennessee, this Saturday, this weekend, should be fun, should be entertaining. I will try to not have myself on the edge of my seat. But as always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, entertainment, comedy on your favorite Crimson Tide, on your favorite program, the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store, your rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store. You got the Android phone. Now, for your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link in the description. If you're trying to get the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com. That link in the description too. Gotta shout out you, the outstanding fans of Bama football. All the calls, the donations, the chats, the dialogue, the love, making this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Bama. Appreciate you guys. Gotta shout out my man Eli Walker in the production studio, handling that business here. Behind the ones and twos, having fun with me on the show here. Till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored and getting that schoolwork done. Continue to get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.